Alright, it's currently 11:15 p.m. and we're getting a little Christmas Eve nor'easter here. It's gonna be a quick hitter. Winds are currently at, I don't know, steady 5 to 10 miles an hour. Nothing special. However, tomorrow morning, sometime after 9 a.m. and before 11 a.m., the low pressure is supposed to pass overhead and bomb out on the ocean. And it should bring a very sudden increase in winds. And I'm hoping to catch that on film. Even if I don't catch the exact increase, at least I will have the timestamps down to show how fast it increased, because we're expected to go from like 20 miles an hour to 50 miles an hour in 1 hour. So I'm really hoping that plays out. And we were initially supposed to get a band of very heavy snow and rain on the back end, but it looks like that might be a little to our north now, so we'll see what happens for tomorrow morning. Alright, I made it to Plimpton, Mass, and I'm at my dad's house right now. There's a light rain developing, should be off and on all night, maybe heavy at times, and winds are still pretty tame, so about to go inside, get some rest, and hopefully wake up tomorrow morning to a surprise. Alright, it is 1:30 in the morning. Might be able to hear that. Winds have increased pretty good. Very sustained now, about 20 miles an hour perhaps. Gusting occasionally to 35. And as the low approaches, I believe that we're going to have a period of calmer winds followed by a sudden jump. So hopefully this will be interesting. Alright, it's about 8:20 in the morning, Christmas morning, and winds have virtually calmed down to nothing. The back end is roughly 20 to 40 minutes away, depending on how quickly the slow is moving. I didn't really have time to check because we're doing presents at the moment, but there was some wind last night, and there should be some wind on the back end, hopefully. Hoping this doesn't bust, but if it does, oh well. Alright, it's now 9 a.m. Rain has picked up, but the winds have remained relatively tame. The band is in southern Rhode Island, moving into western southeast Mass, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, 9:15. Winds are picking up. There we are, not even 15 minutes later. Winds have gone from about 15 to 20 miles an hour up to 30 at times. And it's snowing. That was probably the quickest change I've ever seen around here in this area. It's about 9:28 a.m. right now. Yeah. hit like a wall. Wait, what's that?
Is it snowing?
Yeah. Here we are 5 minutes later. It's not really snowing too much, it's more like a sleek grapple. It's blowing like crazy. Look at those trees over there. It's already accumulating. I wasn't even expecting it to. Wow. And I'm not even on the coast. It's already getting on the roofs too. I have never seen anything this quick. Oh my god. Oh. Wow. This increase is incredible. I already got wind damage. This ground is very wet and very slippery immediately. Temperatures are dropping like crazy. This went from like 45 to maybe 35 in about, I don't know, maybe half an hour. Oh my god. The water on the road's already starting to freeze. It hasn't even been an hour yet. Wow, must be some kind of blocking over here. The wind's going crazy over there. This is crazy. I've seen this before, but just never an increase like this. I think the biggest burst of wind might be over. That was the initial onset. Hit like an absolute wall. Almost like getting a snow squall, except it's on the back end of a developing low pressure, so a little more intense. Well, we may actually end up getting a full coating to maybe up to an inch out of this. I am shocked. So we maxed out at maybe 45, potentially 50. Definitely no more than that. Over here, I don't know, it wasn't that strong, but over there in those trees, they're whipping around like crazy, so. And this is what it looks like to be in the center of a low pressure system when the back wall hits you and it strengthens offshore. Wow. This is just unprecedented, honestly. I didn't think we'd be getting a, I use the term loosely, blizzard in the morning here. It's like Christmas morning, surprise, here you go. Sudden snowstorm. It's powdery too. Yep, roads are starting to freeze over immediately, and snow's going to accumulate on them too. Hearing some cracks. And there's going to be wind damage with this for sure. About 10:15 now. Roads are gonna be awful, and I gotta get out of here sometime in about an hour and a half. And the trains are running today on Christmas. Yeah, I think we're out of it, the worst of it. There's the sun. Unless we have a little more on the back side, but... Well, this is the back side, but I mean on the back side of the band. It's Should continue to gust all day. Probably up to 40, most likely. Barely doing anything now. It's like barely hitting 20, 25. Alright, if anything more interesting happens, I will continue to film later. That was a decent snowstorm. Only lasted a couple hours. Actually, about an hour. A little over. This looks like it's gonna end soon. Wow. That was interesting. Winds are trying to change direction a little bit as the low moves away. Solid coating though. Sure, this was a nice surprise for some people in the morning here. They wanted a white Christmas and they just about got it. Should be seeing blue skies, yep. That was a solid event.
Whoa.
A lot of slush there. And just like that, the storm is over.
Right?
That was awesome. The sun's melting it.